And thanks for staying with us. We want to begin with this one. Cocoa farmers in Ghana have warned that the country could lose more productive farms to illegal mining if cocoa prices remain unchanged. The warning by the farmers comes ahead of this year's Cocoa Day, which is scheduled for the 1st of October. The day, which marks the beginning of the cocoa year, is also used by Cocoa Board to announce the cocoa producer or farm gate price for the ensuing cocoa season. Listen to Isifu Isaka, who is president of Kwawu Cocoa Farmers Cooperative, and he says the cost of production has gone up by over 100%.
For we, the cocoa farmers, particularly Kwawu Cocoa Farmers Association, our concern is that the cost of production in terms of cocoa farming activities has gone high, very high, over 100%. So we are pleading with the government to increase the cocoa price by a margin of 30%. Within that, the farmers, we will continue to suffer. As we speak, we are not able to buy inputs, we are not able to buy fertilizer, we are not able to hire labor for our farming activities. Due to that, farmers are running away from their cocoa farming activity to different activities. So please, we are pleading with the government that since the cost of production have gone high over 100%, we know that the government cannot increase cocoa by 100%, but at least.
And so the concerns of one cocoa farmer there, head of public affairs at Cocoa Board, Fifi Boafo, joins us for more on this. And so the farmers raising issues of production costs. I'm sure you are just as concerned as the farmers are about issues such as pricing. I want you to, first of all, help us understand what goes into determining prices, and is it a realistic demand for a 30% increase like that farmer was saying for producer price for now?
Well, as to whether or not it's a realistic one, I lack the capacity to determine, because there's a committee that is seized with all the powers and the responsibility in determining whether to increase, maintain, or vary the price of cocoa at the beginning of every year. It is the Producer Price Review Committee. This is made up of the ministry responsible for Cocoa Board, Bank of Ghana, as well as the farmers' representatives, the licensed buying companies, hauliers, and other industry stakeholders. The stakeholders take into consideration the average price of cocoa as attained or as achieved from the world market, also, or the terminal market, I should say. Also take into consideration cost of production, as well as all other industry costs put into consideration. So in determining whether to increase price and the percentage of increase, I lack the capacity, as I said in my office, to say that Cocoa Board will agree to that proposal or not, because it's not even Cocoa Board decision to determine the price. It's the Producer Price Review Committee, as I've indicated the composition of that committee to you, and they will take the decision. And of course, the expectation that the committee will meet ahead of the opening of the new cocoa season, and they will determine the price for cocoa.
And so listening to the farmers, the concern is that, well, if the prices don't go up, the cocoa production is going to be unattractive and people are going to engage in illegal mining. I want to us to tackle the issue of illegal mining and its threats on cocoa production. I'm sure it's also an issue of concern for Cocoa Board.
One of the things Cocoa Board as an institution is concerned, and we are also putting in measures in addressing as to how to improve farmer income, because we believe that when farmers are well remunerated, they will not be motivated in any way, shape, or form to give out their cocoa farms to these illegal miners. But of course, the ability to also increase the farm gate price for the cocoa farmer is also determined by how much Cocoa Board is able to realize from the world market or the terminal market. So it probably will be a wish of Cocoa Board to have the price increase significantly. But will Cocoa Board be able to pay if it continues increasing? I think it's trite knowledge that the past 3 or so years, Cocoa Board has always been paying farmers more than what the terminal market offers. And of course, this is affecting the books of Cocoa Board. Is it a decision that Cocoa Board can continue to give farmers prices that the world or the terminal market do not justify? That is a decision for the Producer Price Review Committee to take. But then the question of if Cocoa Board agrees that there's the need to have farmers better remunerated in order to ensure that it wards off the possibility of giving cocoa lands to illegal miners or the small-scale miners. Yes, we are.
Okay, you just froze there a bit, but I guess you're still on. And so how else can farmers be...
Yes, the point I was making was that we agree it is important that farmers get better.
Oops.
Will Cocoa Board be able to give the figure the farmer?
Unfortunately, the link keeps freezing, but you've been listening to Fifi Boafo, who is head of public affairs of Cocoa Board, explain issues that go into determining the producer price as farmers call for an increase, citing the illegal mining being, should I say, gradually attractive for the farmers. They're actually selling their farms to illegal miners because they're not really making so much from cocoa. I don't think we have him back on, but we'll just move on and continue the conversation if we're able to get him back on. Let's talk about oil and gas. Do we have him back on? Okay, so oil and gas firm Daryl has begun engagements with the government of Ghana for a new gas sales contract as free gas, or what is called foundation gas volumes, expire by the end of the year. The contractual framework, Daryl says, will ensure there is no interruption in supply of gas to support power generation. Speaking to Joy Business, Managing Director of Daryl Ghana, Wissam Al-Montheri, said it was urgent for an agreement to be reached as it would also ease the cost burden on the Ghanaian consumer.
The weighted average price of gas in Ghana today is somewhere in the $6.50 per MMBTU million British thermal units, which is actually quite expensive, and that's kept high based on the existing sources of supply, one of which you mentioned in your question. We made a proposal to the government of Ghana that, well, let me say this, so there's really two things. So with the foundation gas volumes expiring, we would like to have a contractual framework in place that allows for the continuation of those associated gas volumes to go to the country after the completion of the foundation gas. Well, we're currently engaging. We are working really hard to ensure that we get agreements in place before any of the deadlines or anything I mentioned. I can't commit to a timeline now, purely because it's not only in my hands or in our hands, but I will stress the urgency. This is for the benefit of the Ghanaian consumer, be it in the private, public, or individual, from an individual perspective, or private or public sectors. The urgency level is high, and we all should be working really hard to ensure that there's no interruption of supply.
Wissam Al-Montheri, the energy strategist, Dr. Yusuf Sulemana, joins us on Zoom to discuss this. What do you make of this push by Daryl for a new gas sales contract? Good deal worth considering?
Yeah, thank you very much, Daryl. Good afternoon to you, and good afternoon to your challenge voice done and across the globe. Yes, indeed, it is worth considering, and I think the government of Ghana, they have to forge forward to be able to come to an agreement, to a deal as fast as possible. And why is this very important? If you look at time past, Daryl in the initial stages, they were committed to supplying over 200 billion cubic feet of gas, to Ghana government. This gas was free. That's what we call foundation gas. And the gas was crucial to Ghana, and then to Daryl, to Ghana, governor of Ghana on one hand, and to Daryl, the IOC on the other hand. How was it very important to Ghana? power production using gas is the most, you can say it's undoubtedly the most competitive. If you're able to maximize our power production or link up our petroleum sector with the power sector using gas as conduit, I think it will drive down the cost. And I think that the MD agreed to that, and I agree to that very much. But what is it important to Talu and indirectly to Ghana? In time past, somewhere 2009, if you observe, Talu complained that they were losing production, and they were losing production because we were not able to offtake the gas, even though this gas was free. But because of Ghana government contractor agreement with other, players, other competitors, it was quite difficult to directly take the gas from Talu. And in oil production, if you're unable to lift the gas, it will impact your oil production. You need to displace the gas to be able to, get access to the oil. So if you remember, somewhere 2009, Talu alluded as the fact that Ghana government was not able to offtake this gas, and that was accountable for, some of the downside in their production. So yes, it is crucial for Ghana government and Talu for one hand. And I also mention that, if we come to an agreement, before the end of the year or as soon as possible, it will give Talu a plan in place that the gas, they know that the gas is going to be offtake, because of what I just talked about. If the gas is not offtake, I think it's going to be a serious bottleneck. Besides that, we need a lot of gas. Though we still have gas within our shores, but we need gas at competitive amount, at competitive basis, to be able to deliver power to the end user, and to industry.
Well, government has the option of Sankofa gas, doesn't it, which is also available. So I asked Almond Theory how competitive this new gas sales contract is. Just take a listen to what he says.
Through our work over the years and learning the 10 and Jubilee reservoirs, we've been able to identify that there is significant non-associated gas resources on top of what is already being exported today that could be made available to the country. Now, the difference with these volumes is, you've heard us mention the numbers of over 2 trillion cubic feet that we believe is in those reservoirs through our sort of informal studies and understanding. But those volumes require investment. They require capital investment to drill wells. They require infrastructure to be put in place from a subsea standpoint, from a facility standpoint. They require pipelines so that they get to the end users in the power and manufacturing sectors. But they're there. And even with all that capital investment, those gas volumes represent, in our view, by far, the lowest cost gas available for the country of Ghana relative to other options, domestic or foreign. And this happens to be domestic resources. So we think that there's a lot of really important reasons why there should be a great deal of urgency around having the right contracts in place to ensure the delivery of this gas continues and investment in new volumes continue.
So, Yusuf, we know that Russia's war on Ukraine has escalated gas prices globally, and countries are looking for cheaper gas. Now, based on Talu's proposal, it says it will be able to supply a minimum of 200 million standard cubic feet of gas a day if this proposal pulls through. And he says this will represent by far the lowest cost gas available to the country of Ghana from any alternative source, be it domestic or foreign. And so that's the bargaining chip.
Yeah, certainly. And I think Talu is just learning from what is currently being in place. If you remember, Talu has been within our shores before ENI came. And so ENI, they were quite aware that Talu gas is supposed to be free. And so it was not surprising that they strategically pushed Ghana to sign a contract of take-or-pay. Because had it not been take-or-pay, it means that Ghana wouldn't have minded, ENI gas, because Talu gas is available. And so, yes, the thing is that we have a stringent contractor agreement with ENI, which is the Sankofa gas, and it's also huge as we speak. It's so much. So there's going to be, I believe that if we go into agreement with Talu as quick as possible, and then these players, there could be some kind of competition between the two players. That's an ENI gas and that of I mean, that of tallow gas. If that competition is there, at the end of the day, it will drive down the cost. And yes, you're right. Russian incident, I mean, Russian fallout, the fallout of Russian war has skyrocketed gas prices, in the global space. With Russia threatening or complete, they've already said they'll be cutting gas supply to Europe. And so that has skyrocketed energy prices in Europe. And that has the potential to impact energy costs globally. And it's already impacting. So, but for the fact that this resource is domestic, and then we have opportunity to be able to tap into this domestic resource, I think we just have to take advantage of that. If we do that, if we look at this Russian war, Daryl, those who are heavily impacted are those who are highly dependent on external import of energy products. Yes. So if, assuming we are to depend outside for gas supply like Europe is doing, then that will crumble our economy. There's no two ways about that. But if we have this domestic resource and we take advantage of that and utilize it to the benefit of the populace, then I think Russian war or not Russian war, we are going to be shielded. And these are some of the strategies that we've been saying, that if we take advantage of our domestic resources, make them robust, then external influences are not in any way, that external influences will not be able to impact it that much like they are doing. So yes, I think the high time we get together and get a contract signed to push forward the better, so that a kind of competition can be created between the two players where competitive-wise gas prices will come down.
I'm sure issues such as take or pay or take and pay will come up. What would you advise as they deliberate over the contract?
Yeah, so that's an interesting one, and I think Ghana we have to learn our lessons. And I will repeat that what I said. I only fought ENI for getting them to sign take or pay because they understand. In any case, take or pay contract, it's not a bad thing if you understand, especially where we have security, supply security ramifications. And take or pay is something that players will agree upon. But in our case, I think we didn't have that much of supply security ramifications. So yes, I think Ghana, we have to cautiously look at this new contract. And I think under no circumstance should we, push ourselves into take or pay, because we don't have, let's say, supply security, ramifications. So if you don't have supply security ramifications of a commodity, then you shouldn't push yourself to sign take or pay. And I think if you sign a better contract with tallow, it will strategically places to renegotiate with ENI with respect to the current contract that we have with them. My understanding is that government in Ghana was looking forward to renegotiate, that kind of contract with ENI to make it a bit flexible. And so if that is done, I think overall it's going to help in domestic gas production. It's going to show up our energy security as far as power generation is concerned.
Dr. Isi Sulemana, oil production specialist, we'll leave it here. Thank you so much for your time. Let's turn to mining now. The Ahafo region could be losing out on business and employment opportunities to boost socio-economic development, as a mining project in the area has stalled for a year now. The Ahafo North project of Newmont Ghana Limited, expected to rake in 350,000 ounces of gold a year to boost the local economy, is having a dwindling start. Thousands of unauthorized structures continue to spring up on the mining concession, with owners anticipating compensation. Love FM's Emmanuel Kwawu has more in this report.
Lands for the Ahafo North project of Newmont Ghana Gold Limited were declared a mining area in September 2017, but the erection of unauthorized structures on the concession has since stalled commencement of construction works after receipt of an initial investment capital of $850 million in 2021. These speculative structures made from metallic roofing sheets are dotted across 5 communities within the concession, including Yamfo, Efrisipakrum, Tertre, Susanso and Edroba. As you can see behind me, these structures used to have a metallic portion, but the contractors have managed to remove these metals, leaving behind the skeleton, and hopefully these skeletons will also be demolished. There are several others within this particular mine. The Ahafo North project is expected to produce 3.3 million ounces of gold over its 13-year mine life, with numerous job opportunities for the indigents. Samuel Osei is Manager, Communications and External Relations of Newmont Ahafo Mine.
We are ready to start construction. However, there's been a few challenges around land access regarding unauthorized structures which have been erected on the mining area. We declared mining area in 2017, and per the laws of Ghana, once the mining area is declared, all structures available there are numbered and given, codes. And the law says that nobody else would have to build unless they seek the, consent or the permission from the leaseholder, who is Newmont. But following this declaration, after a public hearing in 2019, we saw massive speculative structures or unauthorized structures springing up in these areas.
Speaking with journalists for business advocacy, CEO of the Ghana Chamber of Mines, Suleiman Okoni, was worried the perennial attitude could hamper investment in the mining industry.
We need to extract the resources optimally. And with situations like this, even before investment comes, it's not the very best, My heart actually breaks to see these things. This is not the first time I'm seeing this. It really affects our ranking in the industrial landscape when it comes to attracting investment.
Following a stakeholder engagement meeting with the government, Newmont Ahafo Mine agreed to disburse a relief support worth 45 million Ghana cedis to owners of the unauthorized structures in the 5 communities. The payment, which commenced in August 2022, has since seen over 1,400 of the 4,300 owners receiving payments. Sylvester Mankwa-Kranting is the coordinator for the Ahafo North Relief Support.
In terms of cash, we've paid a little over 23,000 Ghana cedis. We have paid about 1 million Ghana cedis. We have paid over 1,400 individuals. We have about 9,791 structures in the data that we are using from EPA.
Meanwhile, the mining company is yet to commence compensations for legal occupants of structures on the mining concession, with resettlement negotiations ongoing. Crop compensations, however, commenced in 2021. Community leader Charles Bright Boache is satisfied with the smooth disbursement of the relief support.
Very, very happy. As a community leader, I'm very happy. It's going on well, and I think that the regional minister and the municipal chief executive must be commended.
For JoyNews, Emmanuel Bright-Kweku reporting.
Now, government says it is keen on creating over 1 million jobs through the Youth Start Support Program, which is currently being piloted with a capital injection of 10 billion cedis. According to the National Entrepreneurship and Innovation Program, plans are underway to equip young entrepreneurs to start small businesses. My colleague Pius Kojobaka has more in this report.
According to the National Entrepreneurship and Innovation Program, government will in the coming days be rolling out interventions aimed at stimulating growth in the small and medium-scale enterprises sector. Chief Executive Officer of the NEIP, Kofi Ofosu Nkansa, called on SMEs in the country to take advantage of the various programs to grow their businesses. He spoke to Joy Business on the sidelines of the launch of the Startups and SMEs Week.
This support is even providing through programs like the Ghana Cares Youth and Innovative Agri program to focus on agriculture and agribusiness sector. Youth Start, which is our flagship entrepreneurship support program for the youth, 10 billion package, which is expected to stimulate the private sector to create about 1 million jobs in the next 3 years. And this is going to be done in 3 models: the commercial model in partnership with the universal banks, the district entrepreneurship model, which will be implemented by the NEIP and Ghana Enterprise Agency, and then the phase-based organization one, which is a Youth Start Grace. Aside this, agencies like the Ghana Enterprise Agency are rolling out a lot of entrepreneurship support programs, like the COVID-19 grant program under the Ghana Economic Transformation Program, which is supposed to provide grant support for growth stage SMEs to enable them grow and expand their businesses.
On her part, Deputy Minister of Trade and Industry in charge of SMEs, Nana Amadukwe Isiama Ije, said her outfit is ready to support and empower SMEs, leverage on the various opportunities available to them.
It is against this backdrop that the government, under the leadership of His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, has put in place strategic measures to ensure that, 1, 100 Ghanaian companies are supported with various forms of assistance to export under the AFCFTA to the rest of Africa duty-free, quota-free. The implementation of the program is being coordinated by the newly established National AFCFTA Coordination Office here in Accra. The ministry will continue to engage with the business operators on issues relating to the export of goods under the AFTA protocol. 2, the teeming youth, who are over 60% of our population, are better educated and equipped for the job market.
The Ghana Startup SMEs Week, which is under the theme Innovation, Collaborate and Invest for Greater Impact, will go on till November 2022.
All right, and that's our program this afternoon. Thanks for watching, everyone. There is more news on our website, myjoyonline.com/business. Top story there, SIM card registration, over 2,000 persons to file suit against NCA Communications Ministry, myjoyonline.com/business. And that's the marketplace. Thanks for watching. We will be back same time tomorrow.